There's a good chance that Dame ends up with the Boston Celtics. I know that may not be what most Miami Heat fans want to hear, but let's just keep it a buck. Let's get into it right now. Listen, if you're new to the channel, this is P.kidd Talks NBA. We talk all NBA teams, but let's get into this particular trade right now. Trade potential. I'm not going to make it seem like it happened. At the time of this recording, Dame is still a Portland Trailblazer. But anyway, I digress. Right now, the Portland Trailblazers have made it clear that they're going to do what's best for them while also kind of towing the line as to how they may hurt their reputation if this goes left. That's also been flirted with and well reported on ESPN and other platforms as to how ugly this could get for both parties involved, Dame and the Portland Trailblazers, should this go on long and take several days. But I'll be honest with you, with no trade clause, it's a very good possibility that Portland just says, thank you for your services and gets the best trade package available. Now let's keep it a buck for Miami Heat fans. You don't have the best trade package. The worst thing in the world for you all to sit there and do was to make it seem as if Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero are anywhere near some of the players that other teams could offer to make themselves more competitive and appealing to the Portland Trailblazers. Now, the Celtics right now have one interesting thing in development. They've lost Marcus Smart. They've lost Grant Williams. They've picked up Kristaps Porzingis, which I understand. But at the same time, they're also in a conundrum in the simple fact that they have another player by the name of Jaylen Brown, who's up for a contract extension pretty soon. That's going to be astronomical. We're talking about nearly $300 million from what the looks of it are. If you really put that into perspective, it's a lot of freaking money for people who relatively do the same thing. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, to me, there's a lot of redundancy at that position. One's a 2/3, one's a 3/2/4. I don't know what Jason Tatum is. I mean, at this particular point, he plays 2 through 4 at this particular point, but mostly he plays the 3, which is essentially what Jaylen Brown does. And for some odd reason, they never seem to be cooking at the right time. Now, take this back to what the Portland Trailblazers said they were looking for in regards to a trade with Dame. They were looking for a potential young all-star in return, obviously some picks and other things, but we're going to focus on that key part right there. Potential all-star. Now, I like Tyler Hero and things of that nature, but if you look at it, we weigh it, because we going to weigh this joint. Jaylen Brown is probably worth more than Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson combined to the Portland Trailblazers, especially with what they're trying to build and who they're trying to build around. And you have to be honest with yourself about that. Jaylen Brown may not be a complete player at this point, which most players aren't, but you got to look at what he produces and what he can do on his own, and ultimately the disrespect that he seems to always be getting in the Boston Celtics. The simple fact that the Boston Celtics have been clearing a lot of space and stuff like that, or have cleared some space, and they've loaded up on picks, lets me know that they're looking to make a move soon, and I believe that he's going to be the player that they move on from. And it'd be a hard package to say no to if you're the Portland Trailblazers. You want someone younger who can sit there and gel with the players you already have in your roster. Now, whether or not they go far and win is a whole different thing. But they bring in a star in his own right, and they go younger, and they get other trade pieces, and they get other capital back. It's the perfect move. It sounds a lot more attractive than going to Philly. It sounds a lot more attractive than going to the Clippers. It sounds a lot more attractive than going, I have to admit, it sounds a lot more attractive than going to the Bulls, because at least he's going to a storied franchise who has a history of winning. And if he wins again, he'll be who would hate it? No one would hate it. So realistically, it's a good chance that the Boston Celtics put together a package to make a move for Dame. And we need to be prepared for it, because Dame, Jason Tatum, KP, and some of the pieces they were able to maintain, it's still a force to be reckoned with. It's still a better team, at least on paper, than most of the teams Dame has had. Now, again, still something to be desired. I still say that they lost too many pieces for what they got back. Kristaps Porzingis is good. I understand he had an up season last season. He's playing well for Washington, but injury concerns are real. He doesn't replace what 2 defensive stoppers do, especially when I was rated Defensive Player of the Year. But at the end of the day, they will be competitive. They will be a playoff team. Does it get Dame a championship? Is it a surefire thing to get Dame a championship? No, but he also didn't want to go to a team that was stacked that way. He didn't want to go to a stacked team. So now, with them divesting a little bit, trading Jaylen Brown, it's not a stacked team by any stretch of the imagination, but it is one poised to go the distance. And I think that's something to look out for. I think ultimately the Boston Celtics could come in with a little sneak attack, make a strong, aggressive offer. And whether or not Dame decides to sit out is going to be on him at that point. I don't see how he ain't going to sit out. I mean, it's too much bread to miss. But if that's the game he played, that's the game he played. But I can see the Portland Trail Blazers making that move, being a little, I don't know if it's a little dirty or not, because, I mean, it is the Celtics. They will be sending him to a team that ultimately has a great chance of winning as well. And can make some noise. So it's not as if they're going to be sending him, like they're not going to do him like the Warriors did Jordan Poole and send him to the Wizards. Like, they're not doing that. So at the end of the day, he can be mad all you want to, but it's still going to be a favorable situation for him to actually win within a relatively short window, because they have been just a few pieces away. And maybe he's that ultimate piece for them, because they haven't had a point guard of his caliber since Kyrie? Yeah, I would say Kyrie was the last point guard they had of his particular caliber. So I want to hear your thoughts, though. If you're a Boston Celtics fan, does this trade happen? Does Dame land in Portland? What happens if he does? Who's on the block if he does? Is it Jaylen Brown or is it Jason Tatum? Oh, that's something to think about. It probably be Jaylen. I mean, we know what it is, like whatever. But hey, we know we've seen some stranger things in this league. But I want to hear your thoughts, man. Whether it's love, whether it's hate, put it in the chat. Again, this is P.kidd Talks NBA, talking all NBA teams. Till next time, man. Peace.